Polls are open for now, but the countdown continues. We are almost finished with the day as far as voting. Thanks a lot for joining us at 6. I'm Mike Dardis.
And good evening to you. I'm Cherie Pilello. Polls close tonight here in Ohio at 7:30. So in an hour and a half here, and then soon after, we're going to know who will be taking on incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown this November. 3 GOP hopefuls battling it out tonight and have been for months and months. Poll watchers are seeing if businessman Bernie Moreno will pull through after earning that Trump endorsement. But recent polling showing that he is in a dead heat right now with State Senator Matt Dolan, who has the backing of Governor Mike DeWine and retired Republican U.S. Senator Rob Portman. Also in the race tonight, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who's hoping that his time in office gives him enough name recognition in the voting booth today.
And tonight we have the best team of anchors and reporters around all across Ohio at the watch parties for all 3 of these candidates. And we begin with WLWT News 5 anchor Ashley Kirkland, who is live right now with the Bernie Moreno camp in the suburbs of Cleveland. Hi there, Ashley.
Well, as you said, we're just about an hour and a half away from seeing some of the results of this election and also seeing if political newcomer Bernie Moreno can pull out a win here tonight. And the Cleveland area entrepreneur has had a huge backing from Republican frontrunner, GOP frontrunner, of course, Donald Trump. And he's funded a huge part of his campaign, loaning $4.2 million to the campaign efforts, according to NBC News. Now, since Saturday's rally with the former president, not only has more money rolled in for Moreno's campaign, but it's also given him a surge in the polls as well. The latest polling showing him with a slight lead over Matt Dolan. And at the rally, Moreno vowed to stomp out the old guard Republican politician, saying, quote, "This is the last gasp of breath of the swamp rhino establishment in Ohio."
And I need you on Tuesday to stab it right in the heart and make it clear that in Ohio, we put America first. We don't put the interests of foreign countries first. We take care of our own. We don't take care of people who break our laws.
Now, you may remember Moreno briefly entered that hotly contested Senate race in 2022. Well, he got out of that race after realizing he was not going to get the support of former President Donald Trump. That backing went to J.D. Vance, who is now the senator, and now Vance returning the favor and putting his support behind Bernie Moreno. And we'll see how that plays out for him tonight. Live in Westlake, Ashley Kirkland, WLWT News 5.
All right, Ashley, we'll see you later. Thank you so much for that live report. In the meantime, it doesn't matter if you're listening to experts or just watching the polls. Moreno's chief rival basically right now seems to be State Senator Matt Dolan.
So his family owns the Cleveland Guardians, and he's earned the endorsement of moderate Republicans. He fell in the 2022 primary against current Senator J.D. Vance, but a late surge pushed him to win counties in northeastern Ohio. And that's where we find WLWT News host Chris Jacobs, who's with the Dolan campaign now just outside of Cleveland as well. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Mike, Cherie. You know, Independence, Ohio is where Matt Dolan is going to be hosting his watch party. It's about 20 minutes south of downtown Cleveland. Now, he is expected to speak here at L.A. Pete's restaurant in just a couple of hours once this race is called. But a big talking point in this election cycle has been the big names that have been backing candidates. Of course, former President Trump is backing Bernie Moreno. But last week, Governor DeWine announced his support for Dolan, even after saying he wouldn't endorse anyone. Now, that gave Dolan a slight boost in an Emerson College poll when he was projected as the front runner. But Moreno has taken a solid lead after a weekend rally in Dayton. Now, Dolan has cast himself as a moderate Republican and the only candidate in his primary who didn't actively seek Trump's endorsements. The 3 candidates, Dolan, Moreno, and Secretary of State Frank LaRose, are duking it out today to see who will face Senator Sherrod Brown in November. We spoke to Dolan today about this entire process.
Well, I feel good. I know we've worked hard getting our message out that we're somebody who I focus on Ohio each and every day, that I have a conservative record of achievement that's helped Ohio reduce taxes, less regulation, school choice, that we've gotten that message out through all 88 counties. And I'm comfortable that they see me as not only somebody who can get things done in Washington, but I can beat Sherrod Brown in November to have that opportunity.
Now, some political experts are citing Senator Sherrod Brown as one of the more vulnerable Democrats in November. They're citing last year's train derailment as a big reason why. But again, the stage literally still being set here in Independence, Ohio, and we are expected to hear Matt Dolan speak in just a couple of hours. For now, reporting live in Independence, Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
Chris, thanks so much. We'll be chatting throughout the night tonight. Secretary of State Frank LaRose saw his early lead in the polls shrink.
Remember, those are just polls and not the vote. So even though he's not polling well, he is staying positive. WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson's live right now at Grandview Cafe in Columbus, where LaRose and his supporters are going to be gathering tonight. Hi, Karen.
Hey, good evening, Mike. Yeah, all is quiet right now, but we do expect supporters to start arriving around 7 o'clock and then Frank LaRose to get here sometime shortly after polls close, so about another hour and a half or so. Throughout his campaign, LaRose has repeatedly said he's a father and a fighter, the only candidate with school-aged children, and if he wins, he'd be the first Army Green Beret to serve in the U.S. Senate. LaRose has been consistently conservative on immigration. He said he would put troops on the border. He also backs modernizing VA programs to place renewed emphasis on transitioning veterans. LaRose has also been outspoken on parental rights in school. He believes all parents should know what their kids are being taught. When LaRose started the race, he had name recognition on his side, but lacked the personal wealth of his two competitors.
Being the only guy in the race that's not a multimillionaire may be considered a shortcoming, but I consider that actually a badge of honor. Most Ohioans, like me and like all of us, have to sit at the table and figure out how they're going to pay their bills. And I think that they're looking for somebody that lives like them and is going to take their values to Washington, D.C.
And when we caught up with LaRose yesterday in Butler County, he said he felt like this campaign was a year-long, he felt like it was a year-long job interview, but he does believe he outworked his two competitors. Reporting live tonight in Columbus, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
All right, we'll see how it pans out. Karen, thanks so much. For a complete election guide and a full list of results as they come in, you can head over to our website, WLWT.com, or you can scan the QR code there on your screen with your smartphone. Of course, we also have the latest for you tonight and all night right here on WLWT News 5. A team of reporters out and about, Cherie and I with you, guiding you through all night long.